So let's talk about thyroid, Dr. Marshall. Thyroid hypothyroidism almost is an epidemic. The numbers I've heard is almost 1 out of 3 adults have a thyroid problem. And what's really tragic here is that if they're tested with the typical blood test, they come back normal. They're told they're normal, but they have this condition that's simmering in the background, and we're waiting again until it becomes a disease condition before we do anything.
Well, the thyroid can go too high and be hyper. It can go too low and be hypo. We know that when a woman hits menopause and her progesterone disappears, that there may be a drop in thyroxin. We also know that lack of iodine can be a very serious problem in inducing low thyroid. Hyperthyroid, on the other hand, can be the result of exposure to heavy metals, such as dental work, mixed amalgam dental work like amalgam and a crown. When you have a silver filling, which is really 50 to 65% mercury, it expands and contracts. After 10, 15, 20 years, it breaks the tooth. A dentist then comes in and puts a crown in place. You still may have silver fillings, but now the crown is a dissimilar metal. The two in your mouth can induce an 80-fold increase in the exit of these potentially toxic minerals. The crown being stainless steel, high nickel, associated with cancer. The mercury, of course, associated with every problem you can think of in the brain and elsewhere. These two guys coming out 80-fold, 80 times faster than if you just had one in the mouth. Now, the recipient of this is one of your major blood monitors, which is the thyroid. And this can trigger the thyroid to go hyper or hypo. So now what do? Well, obviously, your first responsibility is try to get down to one junk metal in your mouth as quickly as possible. The second thing that you need to do is promote detoxification in the body. So there are forms of clay, calcium aluminum silicate, the only form of bentonite that's calcium based, that can promote detoxification at every meal. Up to 98% of all toxins that might be consumed from that meal, including the junk from your teeth, can be trapped by this. So it's a countermeasure we can take for modern food and modern problems that have never existed before. But this is one of the first steps we need to take, and then using nutrition to help the body detox, such as chlorella, such as green tea. These things can be a very big help. Green tea typically needs a concentrate that's equivalent to at least 20 to 40 cups of green tea to have a benefit. And the chlorella may be somewhere around, you don't need a huge amount, maybe a couple 100 milligrams, especially if it's been fed to a probiotic. It's gentle and very helpful, but the key player is having good mineral intake like the grasses or Sango marine coral, because that creates like a barrier on the mucous membranes, so the heavy metals can't come in anymore. So whatever junk is in your food stays in the bowel and transits out. This will give the body a chance over time to promote the best health for the thyroid.
What about food habits for thyroid? There's so many chemicals now in bread and even our lifestyle, the toothpaste and the water with the chlorides, the fluorides. How is that affecting the thyroid?
Well, I really feel that fluoridation of water is extremely out of order. The research done worldwide suggests that fluoride turns bone to stone. But bone is meant to be an interactive player in the body. It's never meant to be killed or fluorosed, if you will. When excess fluoride is in the body, the bones become very brittle, and a condition called fluorosis is induced. Very, very serious. And I really think that it would be a good idea to avoid drinking tap water because they've fluoridated it. Yes, that can have a very adverse effect long-term on thyroid function. There are fluoridated toothpaste What's missing in all the research is the fact that while it slows decay in the early life, when they measure them at 20 or 25, there is the total number of cavities that have occurred are unchanged whether you used fluoride or not. That's why European countries do not fluoridate their water. Okay, so but we continue on this nonsense, and you're absolutely right. Could it induce a problem with thyroid? It certainly could.